At Fix-It Dave's from YouTube said is here.
Well, I created the sound of madness, wrote the book on pain. Somehow I'm still here to explain that the darkest hour has never come at the night. I created the sound of madness, wrote the book on pain. Somehow I'm still here to explain. All right, well, I'm just kind of getting stuff set up right now. We need to hit this record button so we got something to work with. When you gonna wake up? All right, so what you guys are looking at right now is cross hatching in cylinder number 1. Yesterday we were at a point when I realized that my mic died. Thank God. I was getting ready to tear off the rear main seal on the crank and remove the crank. Unfortunately, my mic died, and I figured out that it would actually be better that before I move the crank that I go ahead and measure out all the cylinders and make sure that the bores are good. I started to stream out with a pretty good view of cylinder 1 and cross hatching. This is beautiful for a 265,000 mile teardown. This is beautiful. This is what we hope to see. And as we move on, this number 6 cylinder and this 5.9 Cummins that we're working on is a little bit more. Hold on, guys. Let me fix that real quick. Good song. Anyhow, back to me. Basically, in these 5.9 Cummins, as the coolant gets to number 6 cylinder to do its job, it's pretty warm. So the number 6 cylinder tends to run hotter than the rest of the cylinders. And apparently so on up the grid, according to the cross hatch marks that I'm seeing. Now, this is a really good view for everybody. I don't think they get much better than this. It's not going to be that good as we move through the cylinders. So I'm going to pull you guys off of this view. We got to set up some tools over here for measuring, check them, blah, blah, blah. I'll let you guys watch me do that. This is my first time I've ever using these tools, let alone setting them up. So if you see anything I'm doing wrong, then I encourage you to, say something in chat or in the comments or wherever else you may be able to respond to this kind of stuff. I just quickly need to check out my chat.
Fix-It David from Twitch said hello chatty chat chat. At Fix-It Dave's from YouTube said hello chatty chat chat.
Looks like the bot's working good. So I guess let's get right into it. I'll let you guys see what's going on here. So there's potentially 6 measurements per cylinder. I'm gonna pull this back for now. And we'll cut that off till we get back over there. You guys just be working off of daylight till we get there. But here's kind of my chart that I made. I've never done this before. I looked for some sort of a, like a form that I could fill out or something. So basically I just have the max spec on these is 4 and 18.5 thousandths, 4 inches, 18.5 thousandths. And the min spec on them on a brand new, on a used engine is, well, brand new min, doesn't matter, whatever, is 4 inches, 15.5 thousandths, or 155 millionths, but we're not going to go there. Do you want to take potentially 6 measurements off of each cylinder, top, middle, bottom, and then of course you want to make sure the cylinder is round, so you're going to flip her 90 degrees and take a measurement on there. A guy that's really prone to being the A word about it would probably go ahead and take 12 measurements or even 24 measurements per cylinder. We're not going to do that. We're just going to take day basic 6. So like I said, I kind of got my chart made out here, got my pen ready to go. I have never done this before, so you just have to bear with me. That being said, let's see how close I can get you guys. I think I am going to end up having to get a, oh, you guys are upside down. Let's turn you around this way then, shall we? Okay, it's my garage. It's not a shop. I don't have quality custom tools everywhere. What we will be using today is an outside micrometer. This is just to set the bore gauge to the 4-point minimum setting, and then we'll be able to go in and see how far over everything is, and hopefully everything is inside of spec. This has not been calibrated yet, so we'll be calibrating that in a minute. But before we calibrate that, I bought a nice digital caliper today, and we're going to check the calibration rod, which is what you use to calibrate the outside mic. And I just want to verify that it is what they say it is. So the first thing we're going to do is open up this caliper and quickly shut the phone off because nobody tells us what to do. I might also slip my shop boots on. I dropped quite a bit of oil on my oil catching mat here, whatever you want to call it. It's got a plastic bottom and then some sort of an absorbent layer on top of the carpet that we can see anytime that you're looking at the floor. And it's designed, to catch oil, keep it from spilling off onto the concrete, and contain it. And when you're done with the thing, you throw it in the garbage. In the containment garbage, though. We'll save these measurements when we're done, because later on when we do I don't know, it's kind of a chinky tool. A lot of plastic feeling going on here. $35 or something at AutoZone. All right. Let's see. How do we turn it on? We pull the tab, apparently. That's it. She's on. Nothing too special about it. Appears to go to a good 0 every time. Right now we're in millimeters. I want to be in inches. All right. And then the biggest thing is to make sure that this tool that they send, which should unreasonably be, pretty well exactly 4 inches no matter what I do with it. Oops. I don't know how well you guys can or can't see that. Anyway, turn that off for the moment. Now to calibrate these things, you basically put your tool inside of it. You get your tool. So what we're doing is, this is the easiest way I've found to do it, is stand straight up and down. And if you get exact with it, you'll find that there is a sweet spot we have jumped out of, got jammed up on us. And once you get to that sweet spot, there it is. You'll be able to tell because it'll stop bouncing around. It'll be nice and tight. The tool comes with both a big one for fast actuation, but then this is a little ratchet. And so once it clicks, that's what it thinks is the perfect measurement for up to a millionth. I think it is up to a millionth of an inch. So it's definitely up to like a half a thousandth anyway. So anyway, once you get it in the tool, you lock it, and now the tool is at exactly 4 inches. At that point, you want to look at the numbers on it, which I happen to bring my handy dandy glasses over for. And I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this or not, but right now it is almost 2 full thousandths off. Can't see across the room, so I don't know if you can see the 0 there and how far off it is, but with my reading glasses I can see it. And what happens is when you buy a set of these, they usually come with a funny looking tool like so. And that tool, oops, well, that was our setting tool falling out. That's a good sign, means we weren't too tight. Putting it back in there, you have to be so perfect, just like so. But that doesn't really matter at the moment because we're locked in. So I don't know if you can see this either, but let me pull these glasses. If you look in the arbor on this thing right there, you see that little hole? That hole is how you adjust it. It's very rigid, it's very hard to move, which is good. You don't want it to move after you dial it in. But you take your tool and it can hook into that hole, and it's like a wrench. That's all there is to it. And with that wrench, you can now force that collar to move and line up that 0. So, glasses back on because I'm not young anymore. Don't you dare say it. I need the collar to move towards me. So I need it to move this direction. Until I line up my 0 perfectly. So I'm about maybe a quarter thou off right now. I'm tough to show you guys. Anyway, That's it. That's the gist of it. We're not going to spend any more time on that. When that puts it at 0, you can now unclamp it just for the fun of it. Retest. Just make sure it lands on 0 again. Yeah, it was actually off for some reason. Probably just the way I set it in there. Who knows? That could be the thing too. Oh, you're supposed to drop the calibration tools too much. But I have that off. I'm gonna pull it back in real quick. I definitely wanted to hit on 0 every time. So now it needs to come. Damn it. Fucking tool, man. Okay. All right, that's pretty good, folks. It hits back on 0, and I can just slide it back in there perfectly. That's perfect. We hope. Again, I've never actually done this before. Now, I guess what I just did was I set it to 4 inches even. Our min is 4 inches, 15.5 thousandths. So we're at 4 inches, 5 thousandths, 10 thousandths, 15 thousandths. $15.5 thousandths. Now, if I did that right, then this tool should say 4 inches, 15.5 thousandths, or this will just say 15 thousandths. But I'll know I'm close. So it says 4.01 inches. But I don't know how to convert 01. That's 100th of an inch, right? What is 4.01 inches in thousandths?
4.01 inches is 4,010 of an inch.
Okay, so it's 4 inches, 10 thousandths of an inch.
That's right. 4.01 inches is the same as 4,010 thousandths of an inch. Is there anything specific you needed to measure?
That makes sense. No, thank you. So 4 inches, 10 thousandths. I'm supposed to be 4 inches, 15.5 thousandths. That'd be 30 thousandths. That'd be 20 thousandths. So there's no way for it to measure 15. It'll only measure on the 10 thousandths. It doesn't measure the thousandths, this caliper. If that's so, I don't really have any way to double check our measurements. But after calibrating this, I go 4 inches. Oh, right there. Plus 15 thousandths. And that's a half thousand. That's a 10 thousandth mark. Oh, so 155 10 thousandths, not millions. Still a weird number. 15.5 thousandths is exactly what this is set to. Okay, so with that, we now want to set our bore gauge to match this. And then everything over 0 on the bore gauge, which the entire thing should be our measurements of plus 4 inches, 15.5 thousandths. That'll be our measurements on the cylinders. Is potentially what that means. Verify, I'm sure I'm recording this though. Yeah. So, let's very carefully set that there. And here's a bore gauge. It's a digital bore gauge. I've Never really sat one up before. What I do know, I studied it, assembled it. This little pin pops out. That's where all your extensions come into play. Well, first thing you got to put on what they call the 2-inch extension for this, because it's a 4-inch bore. And then I guess we'd lay it down, kind of put it in the tool, and pictures, it looks to me like it's just going to take the stubbiest, and that I may not even use the extension. We'll try it with the stubbiest fitting first. I know we want it to compress it so far so that we have room for it to go out. So with the tool there, I was thinking about this earlier, wondering if I was going to need a set of vice grips I can vice this clamp to this table with. Oh, it seems like I need something. Well, I left my wristband upstairs. I'll be right back. All right. Here's what I'm thinking. All right, let's get you guys down here on this so you can see what I'm doing. That's literally as low as I can get you with this stand. It's not a bad view though. All right. So the idea is to put this all together. So this tool will fit in there, and it won't, even with the shortest. So what I got to do is take this tip back out Throw it to the side, take this extension off, it's too long. And we'll try maybe the second longest shaft. Here and there, if I can find a tool to quickly pop them out with. Anything will work. Got a pen. The pen is mightier than the sword. This is the fourth longest one. I'm just checking. That's way too short. This is the second longest one. I'm just checking. That one's just too short. We may end up going back to that one with shims. We'll see. Let's see how this one does. This is the longest shaft. It's too long. So we definitely know we're using the second shaft. Now let's find some shims. I send you a little bag of shims with it. Uh-oh. We'll just start with thickest shim real quick. And you just put the shim right on the pin, and then you shove the pin straight in there, and that shim just makes it stick out that much farther. And then we can quickly check it before we put it all together. Oops. That's pretty good. It's going to give us all sorts of play. That's the one we're going to go with. Well, apparently, all we do is turn this on. It's already on inches. And apparently, we just put it in here. Once we get it, once we find the true measurement, then we just zero it. And it is now set. Kind of having trouble doing it with the camera here. Well, let's see. Let's see, guys. It's kind of tough with the camera here. Huh.
Unlawful Bunlik from Twitch said viewers Topsum 5. Online at 6BC5BFWQ.
Cool. Not sure what that means, but as you can see, I'm right in the middle of it here. Okay, well, I got a 0. Let's see what unlawful full boon. Okay, not sure what that is. It must be something to do with Twitch. All right. You're in the chat. It's good to see you. What's going on? Just trying to get this bore gauge set up so that I can measure out these cylinders. Oops. Well, we did it right here. Shit. I should have some, oh my goodness. Okay, so you guys are seeing kind of what's going on in the camera. I'm going to flip you around now, give you a gauge view so that I can stand in front of the unit. Oh, let's see. Let's see how that works. Oh, so close that time. Huh. I'm not trying to say I'm a pro at this, but I haven't got it to read back an exact 0 for me yet. It's going to be very important, right, that it's doing that. This is 3,000. Come on, boy. This should probably be easier with the clamp straight up and down. I think we'll try that. I mean, with the outside mic straight up and down. What I'm thinking is, or maybe even like that, just help it from falling off. I'll do it like this, right? Okay, 15 and 5 thousandths, so that's still right. Let's see if this gets easier. We're looking for a 0. Every time we put it in there, we want to see a 0, or, you know, at the very worst. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see anything or not, but okay, I don't know if you guys are able to see this or not, but I'm finally getting it to say zeros. That's pretty good. Oh my gosh. All right, one more time. Let's see what you guys are or are not seeing. It's zeros, baby. All right, so that should work. Let's just do a test real quick and see. Let's see, where did I have you guys for that? This was on. Okay, this is cylinder 1. We'll be here for a little bit while we test this and make sure that we keep having the same readings. I'm going to have to move the light just a little bit for you guys. Still a pretty good view for you. And this is in the direction of thrust. Sixteen thousandths on the top. $21 thousandths in the middle. $20 thousandths in the bottom. Gonna redo this top. $20 thousandths in the top. So no taper. That's good. Let's see what 20 thousandths. What does that come out to? That comes out to a lot. Am I reading this tool correctly? I'm not. This tool is once again out. I don't know how. Jesus. Oh. All right. So I watched a stupid video that had me put this bezel on. I think the bezel's a mistake. So I'm quickly going to take it off. You guys are still in the cylinder. I'll just leave you there. All right, I'm back. You guys don't know that because you're still looking at the cylinder. Double checking my measurement there. And we will zero this thing one more freaking time. Maybe get the right measurement this time. We'll see. All right, let's see what we can come up with real quick. Boom. Well, I'm getting a lot better zeros now. Down to the 10,000th, so that's good. Let's try this one more time. So here's the top. So much better. That's what we wanted to see, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm seeing it's teeter-tottering on 1/2,000, but I'm seeing 1,000th on the top. I'm seeing seeing 1,000th in the middle. 1,000th on the bottom. Let's check the cross. For the light's sake, I'm going to jump around on the cross so I can see the gauge. So on the top, half a thou on the top. Nice. One thou in the middle. Half a thou on the bottom. Very nice. So that is completely within tolerances. I'm going to take it back over here real quick and double check my zero again. Actually, it's easier if I double check my zero from right here. Oh, my zero is perfect. We're loving this, folks. All right. Step one, cylinder one, measures good, 100%. I still want measurements. So before we move on, I'll check my zero on my gauge in between each cylinder, but I am going to go through cylinder one more time. I don't know what you guys can actually see there. I was staring at the gauge the whole time. But from cylinder two through, cylinder two, probably the rest of them, we'll do, I think that if we see any issues, hopefully it's only in number 6, and hopefully that's just within 1,000th or so. And we can just hone this thing and send it back to work. Send it back to work. We need the money. Which reminds me, for viewers, top, not sure what that means, but I enjoy any interaction I can get. Okay, so min spec is 4-inch, 15.5 thousandths is the easiest way to look at it. Max spec on a used engine is 4 inches, 18.5 thousandths. I have the gauge set to min spec. So the gauge is set to 4 inches, 15.5 thousandths. And I'm getting at the most a +1. At the absolute most, I might have saw 1.5 thousandth. Nothing major. So we'll say 1,000th across the cylinder. We're still 2 thousandths within spec. We've still got wear room left on this engine. That's great. That's what we want. All right, I'm gonna check my zero one more time. Then taking a little break here. Zero is perfect. Okay, we're going in this time. We're gonna write them down. So, cylinder 1, top, thrust direction, 1/2 thou. Lost my pen. That's 5 thousandths, 0.005. .0005. Okay. Half a thousandth. Okay. Middle on the thrust angle. Give or take right about there. The best I'm getting on the middle is 1.5 thou, which is fine. We're still on spec. That's the best I can get. 1.5 thou, and then on the bottom measurement, best I can get is 1 thou. So 1.5 thou on the middle should be 0.0015, and then 1 thou on the bottom will be 0.0010. Oh my gosh, I'm messing up my paper. Imagine that. All right, let's do the 90s real quick. Just for the heck of it, I'm going to double check my zero. Just because why not? I'm getting pretty good at it now. Zero is still perfect. I'm getting pretty fast at it now. Let's see if I can go in on this side this time. Top measurement, 1 thou. Sorry for bumping you guys around there. Which is weird that there's more wear opposite of the thrust by 1/2 thou, but not the end of the world by any means. Okay, measurement halfway down. Can't do because of the light. One thou. Measure at the bottom on the cross. Half a thou. 1 thou, 1/2 thou. That's gorgeous. We love that. And you guys can see the cross hatching. That's about the best view of it I can get you on camera. But potentially looks like that all the way around. I don't know. We'll get some pros in here to tell us what they think about whether or not I should rehome this type of a cylinder, or whether I should just leave that bad boy alone and let it roll. So let's see. I want you guys to see the gauge this time so you can kind of experience what I'm experiencing. It's actually really kind of easy, I think, to do these. They're not bad. I mean, these cylinders aren't even clean. They're still oily. I don't want to clean them yet because I'm still going to sit for a few more days while I do other stuff. And I basically don't want any rust. So right now they're still coated. I'm still spraying them with this fogging oil, they call it, and covering them up throughout the night and stuff. All right. So long story short, let's see, what are we doing with light here? Does that put a glare on your screen? No, but pretty much doesn't help you. So I'm not sure if I can put you over here and set you guys. You're gonna need to be kind of in my view, which is potentially right here for the most part. Let's see. Let's see how that looks. Now, can you guys even see the gauge? May have to move the light around real quick. Oh, and that bezel was definitely messing up all sorts of measurements. Anybody gets one of these cheap bores, I would just say F that bezel, throw it straight in the garbage. I had to hack my case to make the bezel fit in there anyway, and now that the bezel doesn't even work, it's garbage. Let's see, probably sit you guys on the floor right here. Let's see, boom. Something like boom, something like boom, boom. Oh, boom, boom, and boom. Let's see if I can. I don't know if that helps or not. All that booming and not even sure that it would work. Okay. Let's see. It probably helped a lot, actually. All right. I'll put you guys right there. Well, that made it worse, didn't it? Oh. No. It doesn't really seem to matter what I do. It's not going to work, guys. I want you to see the numbers, but I don't know. It's just hard. So essentially what I'm going to do is just roll with it. All right, double checking my zero. Zero is perfect. Let's measure out this number 2. So number 2 top. No, we don't like that. Best I can get on the top is a 2 thousandths on the top. Still within spec, but we're pushing it again. Best I can get in the middle, 2 thousandths. And on down to the bottom, and get 1 thousandth in the bottom. So there's a slight 1 thousandth taper. I do know that we're allowed 1.5 thousandths on the taper. So 2, 2, and 1. Checking the cross on it on the top and the thrust. How weird. 0.5 thou in the thrust. So we're just inside of spec, just barely inside of spec on out around there. Half a thou on top. I have to write these down. In the bottom, we get, I'm in the middle, 1 thou even. Actually, I was closer to the bottom. In the bottom, I can get 1 thou. That's more like the middle. 1 thou. On the top. 0.5 thou. I want to recheck my bottom measurement on the cross real quick, which is right about there. That's better. 1 thou. Recheck my middle here. Still 2 thou. That is too bad. I did get a 1.5 thou on the top though. I'll take that. Okay. I'm gonna double check my zero real quick and then we will do cylinder 3. Zero is still perfect. Cylinder 3, thrust. Thrust angle top. Measures out to perfect. We'll call it a 0.5 thou. Every once in a while I can hit a zero on it. But 0.5 thou is fine on the thrust. All right, halfway down. Give or take right about there. On the thrust side. 1,000th on the bottom, 1,000th. All right, cross on the top. One thou in the middle. One and a half thou. And at the bottom, one thou. One and a half and one. One and a half and one. Okay, cylinder number 4. Top thrust. One thousandth. Top mid. One thousandth. Bottom. One and a half thousandths. Got some weird wear, that's for sure, but that's not bad. It's all within its back. So what was that? 1,000th, and one and a half thousandths, right? This is cylinder 4. Plus, I think we were on cylinder 5. So top. Top is a half a thousandth. Mid is a half a thousandth. Bottom is 1,000th. Half, one. And for the crosses on number 4, on the top, one and a half thou. And the last 2 measurements on this cylinder, mid measurement, I cannot get it to say a thou. One and a half thou. Bottom measurement, 1 thou. Cylinder number 5. Thrust on the top. One thou. In the middle. 1 thou. And then the bottom, 1 thou. All 3 of them. And on the cross, cylinder 5, we have got on the top 1 thou. In the middle, 1.5 thou. And in the bottom, and get it down to 1 thou. So 1, 1.5, 1. And last but not least, this is the most important cylinder of them all, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to let you guys get a good shot on this one. This is my trouble cylinder, as is per usual on all Cummins 5.9s. What happens is, try and get you in here as close as possible again, which will most likely be something like shouldn't touch the screen. I'm in the lens. Oops.
At Jacob Adams 792 from YouTube said, "What's up, boss?"
Going on, sir? How's it going? Just getting ready to try and give you guys a good view. If you're just tuning in, you missed cylinder 1 while I'm currently measuring out the cylinders. What I'm trying to get you guys right now is a shot of number 6, which is my glazed cylinder. So to give you a picture of kind of, you know, what a cylinder with good cross hatching compared to a cylinder without. So again, you guys can see that there's just no cross hatching. If you see the lines, what little bit of lines they are, showing signs of rust on the camera. Don't like that. Not rust though. Maybe it's trying to be rust. I don't like that. Anyway, you can see that all the lines are straight up and down. There is absolutely no cross hatching. And the reality is if I polish that out a little bit for you, well, hard for you guys to see, but it's more of a mirror, right? It's what they call a glaze. And so the cross hatching is just completely gone. Now, that means that that cylinder had the most stuff changed on it. So it's also the most prone to being out of spec for what we're just about to measure. Now, I'm just quickly going to zero my gauge again and make sure I still have a good zero. It is perfect as figured. This is what it all boils down to. So I'm going to measure the thrust first, top, middle, and bottom. I don't know how much of that you guys will or won't be able to see. Well, let's see, on the top. Well, I'm not liking that. Five and a half thousandths is the best measurement I can get on the top. Now I'm just quickly going to pop back into cylinder 5. And on the thrust on the top on cylinder 5, I got a 1.5. Let me quickly check my notes. According to my measurements before, I was getting 1,000, half a thou. Oh yeah. Yeah. So I can find a half a thou on cylinder 5, which unfortunately means that we're probably pretty accurate on cylinder 6. So well, hold on. Getting a 3.5 thou now. See if I can. It just depends on where I go on the top, but it's anywhere as bad as 5.5 at the very tip top. I can get 2.5, which is good. Mid-section tip top. Let's go down mid measurement. I'm getting 2/1000. 2/1000. Let's go to the bottom. On the bottom, I'm getting 1.5 thousandths. 1.5 thousandths. 2/1000ths as I get towards the middle. 2/1000ths between the middle and the top. 2.5 thousandths. 2.5 thousandths. 3.5 thousandths. It's unfortunate, right? When I get to the top, I'm at 5.5 thousandths, puts me out of spec. Plus, I have to hone this cylinder. It's going to take off another thousandth, half a thousandth or so. But just below that line, I'm at 2 thousandths. 2.5 thousandths. That's 3 thousandths difference. And the deal is that that's very sad, folks. Very sad. Let's measure the cross on it real quick. So not what we were hoping to hear. Okay, cross on the top. What happened to my tool? Huh. Well, I'm not sure. 22.5 thousandths is the top measurement. Fudge. That's way out, guys. That's so huge. That's gigantic. That means that the cylinder is egg-shaped. Means I've sent it in, have it. Okay. Well, that's depressing. That's really far out of spec. Like so far out. The bottom of the cylinder is in spec. Top of the cylinder is just jacked up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Shit. You can see where that thrust has been pushing, eating this side of the cylinder wall right here. That'd
At
be,
Jacob Adam 792 from YouTube said found the smoking gun.
yeah, this isn't good. It's way out. It means I have to send it to the machine shop. So it's really far out over here, even clear at the top. That's my egg shape right there. Even clear at the top, best I can get. $27 thousandths. 27 thousandths, Jacob, and I am allowed 3 thousandths over. So it's 24 thousandths more than it should be. Every other cylinder on it is good. It is only the number 6 cylinder that's tested so bad. So I'll have to have them, they'll have to go in and hone it out. I'm not hone it out, but bore it out to, shit. Well, they'll have to bore it out to whatever their sleeve is because they're going to sleeve it. Like I said, on the worst area, which appears to be like right here. I'm 28 thousandths over. Which is weird because it's 34 thousandths over here. Let's see, I believe they can build them to 40,000. I think they can, cut them out to like 40 thousandths over and then sleeve them and then cut that back to spec to fit the rest of the cylinders. Okay. It's very depressing, folks. Oh, let me just write these good measurements down real quick. I want to put you guys back up here so you can see me, because no reason for you to watch me tremble. No reason for you to watch me tremble anymore. I forgot, I'm probably better off to use the second one. Let's use that one instead. Put you up here like so. You're right here. You guys kind of
At Jacob Adams 792 from YouTube said call the shop.
Call what shop? What shop? What shop am I calling, Jacob? How come that didn't even show up in my chat that you said that? Pretty weird. How's it going, bro? Long time no see. Got my reading glasses. Oh.
At Jacob Adams 792 from YouTube said machine shop bro.
Yeah. Well, there's still more work. I'm going to go ahead and measure this out one more time and actually write down the measurements this time. So on the thrust, top is 7.5 thousandths. The middle is 2 thousandths. And the bottom of the cylinder, 1.5 thousandths. 7.5, 2. And I can't believe these crosses. These crosses should be better than the thrusts. At least that's what everybody's telling me in the videos and all the research I did. The top on this thrust, the best that on this cross, 90-degree cross that I can get, if I drop down below the line here, is 30.5 thousandths. 30.5 thousandths. Crazy. Let's see what we got in the middle. I mean, this would prove all the videos that I watched wrong, because the sides are wearing way more than the thrust angle did. I agreed with them because it makes sense that the thrust angle would wear more. 4.5 thousandths on the middle. The bottom comes in at 1 thousandth. Wait. Oops, wrong cylinder. I was like, oh, yay. They're good. 32 freaking thousandths, bro. Can you believe that? 0015 on the bottom for 1.5 thousandths, and then just for the heck of it, I'm pretty sure it was 2. Let's get a mid measurement on this. Oh no, it's more. 4.5 thousandths, 4 thousandths though. I can get 4. Just depends on where I go. There goes 4.5 thousandths. All right, well, dang, son. So cylinder 6 has to be bored. I think there's something, they got some sort of bolting out. They want to sleeve it and then bore the sleeve to match the min specs again. Shada shada. Everything else is all within spec on all 5 cylinders except for number 6. In fact, a lot of them are tight. Like we're talking half a thousand out of tolerance from a brand new engine. Pretty much nothing. Let's see, I got all the way up to 2 thousandths out of tolerance on cylinder 2, and that was on the cross mid measurement, and it was probably just a fluke. Just picked the spot and I picked it and it was right. Problem is now I know I got to do work on number 6. I want to do these measurements before I pull the crank so that I have that all torqued in. You're actually supposed to put a torque plate, but nothing's bringing those back in. I mean, we're 27 thousandths out on some of this stuff, even more, 30,000, 30 plus thousandths out on some of this. And if I go through the cylinders and I feel them and it makes complete sense, they're perfect. Except for number 6, you can totally feel a lip right here. It's totally a hook where that cylinder is just be eating away. So apparently, you know what else is crazy is that I was looking when I had it turned over from the bottom. Well, where could I see those at? You know, the sprays, so the cylinder sprayers, the under piston sprayers, or whatever you want to call them. No, they're on this side. No, number 6 is there, incomplete. I have a hard time showing you guys. But number 1 appears to be broke, or it's just different than the other 5. I don't know. But it's like broke off flush, and the other 5 have like a nipple sticking out. That's a jet that is built right into the housing on this one. I guess they're in different places on different engines. But this was built right into the block. And it looks like it's fed. Oh, it's right in the main, this one. Built right into the main cap. Well, not cap, but the main. Anyhow. Let's see, 420. 420, Jacob. Is my lens dirty? I wouldn't doubt it. Probably touched it too many times. Well, I might end the stream right there for a little bit and do some heavy thinking. There's a lot to think about. Not what I was hoping for. It was definitely time to tear it down. There's no doubt. If I waited any longer, I might not even be able to fix the block. Could have had catastrophic failure. I'd have had to machine every fucking thing on it, and it would have been bad. So, I'll take that. I would have had to machine every insert good word on it, and that would have been bad. So, thanks, guys. A little good recording. I got to measure my first cylinders today. That was cool. It's not nearly as hard as I thought. I had some struggles along the way, but nothing major. Just making sure everything was accurate was the biggest deal. So, peace.
At Jacob Adam 792 from YouTube said sorry I was helping Levi.